Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Sabre. How are y'all doing today? And I would like wish to everybody a happy Father's Day, and hope you are enjoying it. I just a little bit got a little bit crazy for me for a while there today. I went out and did my morning walk, but then I got a call from my daughter, wanted me to do something with her about 2 o'clock. So I thought for sure that hi, how are you doing? I thought for sure that whatever we were going to do at 2 o'clock was going to interfere. I had to schedule it for 4, so I canceled it. And then I got back home about 15, 20 minutes ago. I says I'm going to go on, so I might have lost some people that were going to watch for me. And thank you very, very much, and the same to you if it applies to you. I'm not sure who this is, but he said Uncle Bill, so can't be too many that I don't know about. Oh, but this must be my nephew in Arizona. That's pretty cool. All right. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about the Buffalo Sabres today. I'm going to be talking about contracts, the current roster, and oh, Wes. Okay, I'm sorry, buddy. I thought you were somebody else. I thought it was Derek, to tell you the truth. I'm going to be talking about the contracts. I'm going to talk about the roster. I'm going to talk about the upcoming National Hockey League draft, and let you know what I think. So the first thing I want to do is with you today, whether you're watching it live or later on in the recording, hit that like button. Give me some remarks. Let's go down there and hit the remarks. Put some remarks in there. I'll answer you. It helps the channel grow. Our channel's been kind of leveled off lately, but it's still a good channel, and I appreciate all my subscribers and everything. So subscribe if you haven't done so yet. So first thing I'm going to bring up some contracts here. I hope you can see all of this stuff. I think this is the right one. Yeah, okay. Okay, I hope that's big enough for you to be able to see. It's not real big. All right, just picked up a new subscriber, Coco Pebble. All right, well, first of all, I'll go there. Here's the total allocations right as it stands now, 78 million. The cap this year is 83 million. So there is some space, if they wanted to do something, but I think Kevin Adams is smart enough to realize he's got a big cash problem coming here in this year here. Yeah, it looks like 47,000, but there's going to be 20 guys on down. And I'll show you what's going on with that in a little bit. But anyway, scrolling down here, you can see we got Skinner, Thompson, Cousins out for a long time. Now, Victor Olofsson, I'll talk a little bit about here. This is his last year under contract. I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded. Jordan Greenway, he was picked up towards the end of just before the trade deadline last year, and I'm not going to make an opinion on him. He brings a good size to the team. Casey Middlestaff he's going to be restricted free agent last year. Poso is going to be I think this is Kyle's last year. He's our captain. He reduced. He was on a long-term contract for over $6 million, and he signed $2.5 million. I think that this is going to be his farewell season as our captain and in the NHL. And he's done a good job especially as captain. All right, and we got Peyton Krebs back. We got Jack Quinn back in Peterka. This boy's going to want some money next. These two guys are going to be demanding money. Then, unsigned, we have Zengus Gergeson, who is our longest tenured Sabre. And, I don't know if he's going to come back or not. If he does, I'll be okay, but I'm sure he'll come back with a hometown discount. These other guys here, Hinostroza, I hope I wish him luck. I don't want him back with the Sabres. Sean, one of these others, another guy. These other guys have been playing in the American Hockey League, except for Jost. Jost did a good job, and I don't know if they're going to bring him back or not. And we'll see how the things go or not. Or he is a restricted free agent, so if they could let him go in that. But we're going to see these guys. Ruzak, he came up a couple times last year, and so he'll be in the contention for a job. Brett Murray has been in the contention for a job for the last couple of years, but they might be missing their window here. All right, so we're going to go down to the defensemen. As you can see, we got 1, 3, 4. We got 7 defensemen locked in this year, and that's pretty much the core we had at the end of the season. Well, it is the core. So we got Matthias signed out for quite a while, but I think once we get out into here, even now, we're going to consider this a buy, a real steal at $4.2 million. But look at Rasmus, restricted free agent. Yoki Har, all these guys next year are restricted free agents. We're going to need to keep some of these guys. That's going to cost us more money than what we're paying them now. And so that's going to take care of some of that extra cash that he has this year. But Kevin Adams has been doing a really good job of keeping the Sabres in contention and for doing things by with the money. But that's going to be an issue next year, right? Look at all those defensemen. All right, going down here. Lawrence, well, we got a few defensemen that were in the minors most. And Lawrence Pilot just signed a contract with some Switzerland or somewhere over there. And that he's done that a couple of times where he's went back to the KAL, he came back to the Sabres, and then he went out. He was sent down to the minors this year, and so he must not like that too much. So he's gone again. But these guys were in not Hershey. What am I thinking of? Rochester Americans last year. Then goalies. I don't know what we're going to do here. I'll talk about that a little bit when we talk about the roster. But Eric Comrie, I think that this most likely, if he's still around, it will be the last year with us. We have Devin Levi now in. We got Devin Levi is even signed, making more than UPL, who has been with us for I don't know how many years now, 3 years, 4 years. So this is a lot, but I understand the inflation rate drives up these minimum salary so that's probably what that caused there. These guys are all unrestricted free agents, but Ben Bishop was a contract we picked up from Arizona or somebody last year, but he's been retired. We picked it up in order to help us get to the minimum cap last year. And then Malcolm Subban and Michael Hauser were down at Rochester most of the year. And then we got dead cap figures are all gone. We did have some guys on there. Then non-roster money forwards. Look at all the guys we're paying that are not roster forwards. I'm going to be talking about some of these guys here when we get to the roster part. Non-roster defenseman Ryan Johnson. We just signed him. He's a kid out of college. He finally signed his entry-level contract with us. We won't see him for a couple of years. Of course, the defensemen have to learn. It takes quite a while in learning the positions in there. Plus, I'm hoping that Ryan puts on a few pounds in that. He's not too big of a young man. So this guy here is in Russia, and so is this guy in Russia. And I wonder if they're ever going to get over here. I don't know if they were over here in Rochester or not. So that would be some help because we got to have guys down in Rochester playing too. We got to support them. So that's pretty much it for the roster. The contracts. Okay, and as you can see, next year, all those guys that brought it up to $78 million this year, all those defensemen are going to want raises, so that could take us quite up there, So I don't know what's going to happen because we're only $5 million away from the cap, So I don't know where they're getting all this cap hits from. All right, so I'm going to get out of here, and then I'm going to be talking about the roster a little bit. So I'm going to bring the slides back up again. You guys got any? Why am I not seeing this? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I don't know why it's not more. I'm going to let me get this into a slideshow, and so that you can see it a little bit better. There you go. Now it covers me up. That's all right. I think you can see that a little bit better. So if you have any questions, put it in the remarks. If you're watching this later, if you have any questions, if you have any questions right now, I got a couple other people watching, but they haven't chimed in yet. So I already talked about the contract. So the next thing I'm going to do is talk about the roster. Okay. And some of this could be changes there. And this is what I see our top line. This was our top line for almost all of the year last year until Tage got hurt for a while towards the end when Casey Middlestaff came up. And Casey, when he came up, I think Buffalo Sabres fans have mixed emotions on Casey, but he did he was really good when he got up in this line towards the end of the season. So it could be either one. Maybe they would put Casey up there and move Tage down here with some new youngsters or so forth. I call it the young guns here. This is 21 years old, 22, 21. I hope they stay together because they were exciting when they were on the ice last year. Now the guys that are in yellow, I kind of goofing myself up here a little bit, huh? Blame that on my old age. I could kind of think that maybe these guys might be considered for trades. Because right now, if you add them all up, and I can't get the bottom of the slide to show right now. I know how to do that though. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, it's a little harder for you to see. If you add these up, okay, there's 8, 11, 13, then there's 7. That's 20. If you add these guys up, that's 23. That's the max they can carry is 23. So there's prospects down there. We got these 4 young men. My wish this year, last year, I was very hopeful that J.J. Peterka and Jack Quinn would make the roster. They did. Now, we were one of the top scoring teams in the NHL last year, so we got to keep going in that direction. I know we got to build defense up too, but my wish this year is Yuri Kulich, this top guy, makes it. He spent the whole year in Rochester in the American Hockey League last year. I think he led the Rochester in goals. He's a real sniper, but these other guys are real good too. Savoy, he just came out of one of the sub leagues, and he played his last couple of games with the American Hockey League. I think I see him at the American Hockey League next year, growing as a center. He's not too big of a person, but he's a good skater. He's a good hockey player. Isaac Rosen, good shooter, right wings. Okay, and I think we're kind of short on left wings, shoot big ones. So then you look at these 3 goalies. Something's got to go. We can't carry 3 goalies again. Do I see them sending UPL down again to the American Hockey League? Man, that would be tough because the last 2 seasons he's kind of like either started up with the big team and then got sent down, and then brought back up, and then he was brought back up and he was playing at the end of the season when Devin Levi came out of college. And in the final games that were very meaningful for the Sabres as far as maybe making the playoffs or not, Devin Levi got the start over UPL. So maybe UPL or Eric Comrie are going to get a trade. If I think of anything, I would think it's going to be UPL. Eric Comrie is not the greatest goalie, but he's not the worst, and he's got some experience. So that's pretty important too, because we don't have the elderly gentleman, Mr. Craig Anderson, with us this year. Craig was great for these young goalies. Craig is, 300 plus wins in his career. He's retired now. And so it's going to be kind of interesting as to what happens here and all of this stuff. I hope that they're going to make some room for this with this kid, or make some room for 1 or 2 of them, because there's a couple of other guys like that Rosick kid that came up a couple of times. He's pretty good, but lots going to tell when they get into camp next year also. I know when Coolidge, he was very confident when he came into camp last year, and he got sent down, but he didn't let that affect him, and he had a good year with Rochester. Okay, so now the end of the month, I think it's the June 28th, the NHL draft is going to be happening. And there we go. I kind of these are my wishes, okay? Just my thinking that we need to stock up. We got those guys from Russia, but I don't know if they're coming over or not. But we need to get some right-handed shots, defensemen into the pipeline. So I went looking, and these first four guys are right-handed shot defensemen. They're 18 years old. Of course, they're going to have to learn. This is what they're currently ranked in Hockey News prospects. I really doubt if Reckenbacher or Palika will be available at our 13th spot, where we got picks in the first round is 13. I very, very doubt that that's going to happen. But you never know. And if they're available, I wouldn't be surprised if it go that way. But then I also wouldn't be surprised if Kevin Adams goes with a forward. And some of the guys, these are the rankings that are the guys that are showing up on mock drafts right now. Mock draft, I don't know if you can put any faith in them or not, but I just thought I would bring that up for a point of interest in that. And this Matthew Wood kid, he's a left wing. We need left wingers. He's looking like a very good prospect. And so, maybe even if one of these guys is available, and if Kevin Adams, because you never know what Kevin's going to do. He's been doing a really good job, but he keeps it kind of, secret. Maybe you might take somebody like Matthew Wood in the first round at 13, and then try to get one of these guys at the 39 or the 39th pick. Okay, if they're still around, I'd be happy with any one of these four here. I would I'm not too much on Oliver. Hopefully he's only 18. He's going to get a little bit bigger. And so is Palika going to get a little bit bigger. I'm old school. When it comes to defensemen, I want to see the big defensemen. Look at the Stanley Cup winners over the last couple of years. Big defensemen, not fast ones. We got enough speed in that in there with Dahlin and Owen Power, and then we got Jacob Bryson down there. But, Matthias Samuelson's big, and he does a good job with his weight. And Lyubushkin is doing a good job with his weight too. But we're going to see. I like to see the big ones in there. I also wouldn't be surprised if sometime during one of these picks that he picks a goalie. Because from what I understand, and I don't know how far it goes down the line, is we're pretty low on goalies in the pipeline. I haven't seen any new ones coming up to Rochester in the last couple of years. Rochester's been ex-NHL players and so forth. So we might see one there too. But anyway, I'm looking for a defenseman, a right shot defenseman. I'm looking for him to pick up somebody like Matthew Wood, and I really want Yuri Coolidge to make the team next year. So that is it for this presentation. If anybody has any questions, I see a couple of people out there. Go ahead and fire them. I'll give you a minute or so to be able to type them in. I appreciate everybody that's watching and everybody that's going to watch it in the future when it's recorded. Wes, I appreciate you coming on today. Haven't heard from you in a long time. And so let's see. Okay, so that was fun. That was my thoughts on the Buffalo Sabres. I hope you enjoyed them. Go down there and hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. This is Bill Thornton saying Happy Father's Day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other and stay safe.